Well, joining us now is Stephanie Karasik. She is the founder of Strainprint, which is the leading source of cannabis data in North America. It's an app, and she's here to tell us all about it. Welcome to What She Said.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, tell us what Strainprint does.
So Strainprint is, as you said, it's an app that's available for free to download on the App Store or Google Play. And what it is it's a tracking tool, much like a Fitbit is for your steps or your fitness. It's a tracking tool to find out how cannabis is working for you, how it's interacting with your body based on the symptoms that you're trying to treat.
So how does it? So you download the app, and then what?
So you download. So the app comes from the standpoint of you've already committed to deciding that you want to
share,
not even share, but to use cannabis to help with hopefully to help you with your whatever you're treating. So it's coming from that standpoint. Once you download it, it's going to prompt you a very simple setup wizard. It's going to ask you some basic questions. What are you treating? What products have you been suggested to use? You can go and do all that research before, and we have a community now that's set up to help guide people in the right direction. But the app itself is set up so that you can start tracking your pre and post symptomatic states. And it's very, very easy to use. I always say, if my mother can use it, anyone can use it. And that's how we design the software.
Okay, so you started working in the cannabis industry purely by accident.
Yeah, I would say.
So tell us about that. Tell us how Strainprint started.
Sure. Okay. Well, in 2014, I had just gotten a diagnosis of PTSD. I'd been struggling for basically all my life with different forms of mental health issues. No, I really didn't know what it was. It was just a constant battle. It's very embarrassing. It was shameful. I didn't know how to cope, but I did. I had a job. I had kids. I was married. I did all those things.
You had to get out of bed every day.
Yeah, and I always did. And it was just something that I lived with. So it was from the suggestion of an incredible doctor that I'm so fortunate to still be seeing. She's a psychiatrist, and she said, maybe we could look at cannabis as a potential option for helping you with some of these symptoms. PTSD, the flashbacks, the recurring kind of invasive thoughts. Health anxiety was something that I struggled with as well, and just general depression. So I was like, first of all, once I got over the shock of her suggesting that, I did a little bit of research, not a ton, but enough to make me feel like there was no harm in doing so. So that was the first thing. And I got a referral to a clinic. That doctor gave me a prescription for just an amount. Now, again, it's still the same today. It's not a prescription. It's a medical recommendation. So they're not telling you this is what you take, this is when you take it, this is how much you take.
Yeah.
And if doctors are doing that, there's no guidance there. It's just up to the discretion of the doctor. So a lot of patients are confused, like I was. And you can imagine now it's 2019. So almost 4.5 years ago, there was way less information out there. So I did what I had to do, which was to write down everything that, so I went, took his suggestions in terms of picking, let's say, 3 or 4 different items, different products, and tried them out very, very cautiously. I'm very cautious. So I started low and go slow, which is what they always tell people in Canada.
You're doing edibles? Or?
No. In fact, I've never taken an edible yet. So we'll see if that changes by the time this airs. I don't know. No, I vaporize it. Right. I vaporize it. And so what I did was I would vaporize it, and I would mark down just a series of different points of information that would help guide me for the next time.
Exactly. Yeah. Less, more.
Exactly. Like I didn't need that extra puff, or maybe that extra would help, or this is a terrible strain for me. It makes me feel very, very lethargic. I didn't want to feel lethargic. So all these things.
Or more paranoid.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, exactly.
Different strains, right?
Exactly. So what I did was at my 3 or 4 month check-in with my physician, I brought in this notebook, and I said, look, I don't really know what to say, but here it is. This is the evidence of what I've been doing for the last 3-4 months. And he was so incredibly supportive and encouraging of what I was doing that he said, I wish all my patients were doing this. We would learn so much more. And that's what made me think, there's something there.
So you created an app.
So yeah, I mean, this is trying to give you the Coles notes on that.
Yeah.
I have an advertising background. So I worked as a copywriter in advertising for about 14 years. And, I'm just a creative sort of person that likes to think of ideas, and used to go for tons and tons of walks with my dog, which I can't do as much now. It kills me because we're so busy. But and one of those walks, it just kind of occurred to me, this has to be an app.
So
It has to be an app.
Where do you? So people write this down. Is it for them personally, or do you share this with physicians?
So
in the
great
hopes
question. Yeah. So first of all, everything is anonymized. Okay. So we don't know your name. When you're filling out the information, it's personal to you, and we've set it up in such a way that, without getting technical, like, all the information is kind of like, it's sorted in different servers and clouds and all those things. So it's a very privacy compliant software. So that's the first thing you should know. Second thing I would say is that is up to the discretion of the patient. If they want to share that with their doctor, which we recommend, full disclosure, you show them what you've been doing. If you're taking the time to track and to learn, of course your doctor wants to know. Mm-hmm. And this is how we're going to learn as a group.
But I'm thinking about, you're talking about how there are no guidelines for physicians. They have no way, there is no mechanism where there's a reporting back. I mean, you go into a doctor's office and they say, are you allergic to this? Are you allergic to that? And they can narrow it down to the realm in which they can treat you with what. There isn't that. So in the hopes that since it is being used medicinally, that there one day will be that.
That's 100% what we're striving for. So just to complete we have what we call the Strainprint ecosystem. It's like a fancy word to say we have the app. Then we have this analytics portal that we've built out, which is a software that essentially takes all of this data. And to date, we have over 1 million tracked sessions from patients across the country and in the States. And that piece of software is designed to help inform physicians and clinicians and researchers and anybody who wants to have a look at the data. Government, there's a lot of,
No, I was going to say, tell us about the research that you're doing. Strainprint is connected with on endometriosis, which affects 180 million women around the world. I would have never put these two together.
So I didn't know that either. So it was an incredible learning experience, and it continues to be for me every day. So yes, we are working with a research organization out of Israel.
Right.
And they are formulating products for endometriosis, and this is going to be revolutionary, folks.
And they're using your data.
This is going to be huge. Yeah, they're using our data to validate and to help formulate their products.
What has it told you about female cannabis users? What have you learned?
Well, in some cases, in some cases it validates more so than learn. Okay, so we know that from looking at our data that we know that women are more diligent in tracking overall than men. Mm-hmm. No big surprise there. It's just interesting to see that. Of course, we have periods every month, and we have kids to take care of, and we are more organized with that as a general rule. As well, it's showing us that women prefer oils and vaporizing over smoking. Mm-hmm. Again, these are. You can slice and dice it however you want, but these things for me seem to be more intuitive. But it's interesting when you see the crowdsourced data, how it plays out.
What was your biggest surprise? What was the thing that you learned that surprised you the most?
I'm actually not joking when I say pretty much every day something surprises me. It's not like big things; it's little things like, oh, I didn't know that, or oh, wow. And what I'm finding or learning from this is we know so little. We know so little about how cannabis works in our bodies. This is essentially a medicine that's been around for thousands of years, but hasn't been studied. And this is the first time there's been an intersection in our lifetimes where technology can help science. And we can actually learn from what this plant is doing, how it's interacting with people. And we can use technology to help sort that out, to figure that out, and make it easy for people to do.
I bet your next challenge will be not selling.
Not selling.
I'm sure there'll be people lining up to buy your company.
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? I am fortunate. We're 4 partners. So I'm female and my other partners are guys, and I let them deal with all that businessy stuff. I'm just the ideas girl.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Stephanie Karasik, thank you very much for joining us today. Again, the app, and you can find it anywhere, is called Strainprint.
Yeah, so it's available on the App Store and Google Play. I also would say that for anybody listening, if they are confused and curious about where to get started with their potential journey in cannabis, definitely check out the Strainprint community. We've spent months and months building it. There's a lot of great content in there.
And you find that where?
So that you just go to strainprint.ca and it's all, anything that you need to find is on there. There's links and everything.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Well, she said